But when we have AI do that, and it's usually able to incorporate all those things, it can feel like cheating, like our hard-won skills suddenly don't matter. That's the imposter syndrome creeping in, where there's two sides of it. One, am I a fraud as a marketer if I use it? Fair question to ask. Two, am I falling behind if I don't use it? In this video, we're going to address the imposter syndrome that arises when marketers especially use AI in order to do marketing. And marketing can be creating content, writing, conceptualizing, executing on ideas. But a lot of that starts with a creativity and then turning that into actual deliverables, which is why it can feel like you're a bit of an imposter if you're turning to something like AI. Let's get real. We are all being encouraged, admonished, and required even to use AI to a greater degree in our jobs. Pretty much if you don't have some knowledge of AI on your resume or in your portfolio, you're going to get passed by, at least for right now. So it's incredibly crucial that you do have some expertise about AI so that you can let people know you are familiar, you know how to use it. But today we're philosophically going to address how that can be a problem for marketers because, hey, we are known as the creatives. You're the creative person on the team, or you're the creative person in this group, or you're the one that always comes up with ideas. But then enter AI, and people can immediately start assuming, well, did you just go to AI for that idea? Did you use AI? How much did you use AI to develop this idea? Did you write it, or did you have AI write it for you, etc.? Let's talk about that. First of all, let's address the core tension. We all, and y'all, I have 18 years of marketing experience. I'm 51 years old. I don't know where you are in your career, but if you are any amount of years in your marketing career, you've spent those years building your expertise, knowing your craft, and being really good at it, as good as you can be, and knowing you want to be better. Then this tool arrives that can spit out a first draft in seconds based on what somebody enters into a chat. And it just takes a few seconds, maybe a minute tops, to say, bam, here's 1,200 words for a blog that you might need to write. And now that can feel like cheating. Let's be honest. It can feel like, well, I've worked so hard on being able to write and really be impactful. When we're marketers, and let's just bring up copywriting, we're not just writing copy because we know that's going to go out into the universe. And if it's on a website, it's got to have SEO optimization and now GEO, AEO optimization. It's got to have certain formatting for headings. It addresses our story and uses our brand style and our writing style guidelines. And it's grammatically correct and it's in the right tone and voice, that it has our message down. There's all these things. It's not just something like I'm just going to sit down and pen an epic without any guidance. But when we have AI do that, and it's usually able to incorporate all those things, it can feel like cheating, like our hard-won skills suddenly don't matter. That's the imposter syndrome creeping in, where there's two sides of it. One, am I a fraud as a marketer if I use it? Fair question to ask. Two, am I falling behind if I don't use it? I'm going to give a resounding no to the am I a fraud question. That is with the caveat, if you are actually only using AI and never beyond the prompt, checking the work and refining the deliverables, sure, you might be a little bit fraudulent there, but most of the time we're not doing that because we realize someone is going to be reading this, particularly our audience. But are you falling behind if you don't use it? I'm going to be honest. Yes, we have to get used to it. This is the whole reason I'm doing this video series. So let's address some points that can help us overcome this fraud kind of feeling. First, let's look at it this way. If you are using Microsoft Word or you're using Google Docs, all AI aside, let's rewind back 2 years before AI was a thing. Those tools have spell check in them. It's able to highlight words saying, I don't know if this is spelled correctly. Also grammar, punctuation. This might be an error. Can you check? If you think of AI in that context, I doubt any of us ever felt like a total fraud for not manually checking every word. Tools evolve, and using them is professional because you are relying on something. And again, not to the point where you think it's infallible. None of us have ever thought spell check was infallible. But if you think of AI in that respect, that this is like a spell check tool, just really amped up because it can do more things with that. Here's another angle I want you to consider. I look at AI like it's a staff person. It's a colleague, but more to the point, and if this helps you, look at it like it's your direct report. It's your employee, and you're the editor-in-chief. You're the CMO. You're the director. Whatever you are that you need to be like, yes, but I'm the superior here, and what I say goes. So I'm asking you for this deliverable, and then we're going to work on it together. So AI generates. It's as if you were to Slack, if you think about AI chats or, when you enter the prompt, it's like Slacking someone, say, hey, I need you to work on this XYZ. And you give it the context it needs, and then it's going to, okay, great, I'm going to work on that. Does it work pretty quickly? Yeah. If it's a more complex prompt, it'll take a little time. But AI will generate. But then you, as the editor-in-chief, as the superior officer, as the person who's overseeing AI, you curate, refine, and decide what to keep, what to toss back, and rework. That judgment, that is not something AI can replace. That is something only you have. That is irreplaceable. That's where your years of marketing experience is crucial and fundamental to being able to successfully use AI and incorporate it into your marketing work. And then finally, think of it this way, because just like it is like a coworker, but think of it like a coworker that has access to the entire index of the internet and answers and message boards and platforms and anything that's publicly available. It's an expertise multiplier. If you were to think, if you did go Slack 2 different coworkers today and give them the exact same prompt, you're probably going to get 2 kind of different answers and things like that. That again is where your marketing expertise comes into play. It's okay to delegate. And y'all, I personally struggle with this. Delegation is something I constantly have to work on because I do a great job. I know I do a great job and I'm like, well, and I know how to do it quickly, but then delegating it to somebody else, which means, well, I have to provide some initial instructions. I have to take time to do that. I always think of that in the context of like, I could be working on it instead of telling somebody else how to do it. But I'm creating a multiplier by taking that time because now that person, and in this context, that AI chat has more context, is building its own experience in the things that you're asking it to do. It will draw from that. It will learn from that. It will refer back to what you've already told it. I left in another AI video that we've done is that give it feedback. Anytime I'm working back and forth with AI and I ask for suggestions and it gives me maybe 3 to 4 options, I always tell it saying, I'm going with this option and I even changed it a little bit to this and here's why. Just like you would with a human colleague. So if you do that, you again are multiplying that expertise and now we're able to get an even better result. As we start to wrap up this video, and please leave some comments if you have some more questions about imposter syndrome. We can keep on addressing it. I think it's going to be an ongoing challenge, particularly for marketers. I recently interviewed a gentleman named Chris Duke who works for Glean, and I interviewed him on the Event Experience podcast for Bizzabo, which is an event tech company and a client of mine. He had a wonderful metaphor for how we can look at working with AI. I don't know if any of you have ever played an instrument. I have never gotten good at that. I've never had the discipline for playing instruments. My children do, though. And he says, think of yourself like an orchestra conductor. And I really love that metaphor because there are a few aspects to it. And I have gone and seen my daughter play in her orchestra. And so I have a little familiarity there, not being an orchestra player myself. But let's think of this first. Nobody accuses a conductor of being a fraud because they're not personally playing the oboe or the viola. We're assuming that conductor knows the music and knows how each instrument and the player of that instrument should show up in that entire piece. So let's think of one of our favorite orchestra conductors ever and composers, John Williams. Does anyone think he's a fraud? No. He's got decades of experience. He has created some of the biggest legacy pieces of music that so many of us identify with, our childhoods and our growing up and moments we've had. Nobody's going to say, well, he's not actually playing some of these instruments. Come on. He is the orchestra conductor. And so if I think of myself, I'm John Williams, and I'm telling my Claude chat to do something for me, I am not a fraud. I know what I'm about. I know what good marketing is. It's helping me get there faster. The same sheet music with a different conductor would give you a completely different performance. This gets back to the same prompt thing I was saying earlier. Let's say that I, a marketer with 18 years of experience, give a prompt to Claude. But let's say that a marketer with maybe 3 years of experience gave the same prompt to Claude and we get similar results, maybe the same exact result, but how that 3-year experienced person deals and works with and kind of massages the deliverable there is going to be vastly different than how I do it. That, again, is where the experience comes in. The conductor also brings interpretation, timing, emotional intelligence, and vision, the meaning of the piece. Another analogy is that I have a client that for 6 months I've been helping with newsletters, and I've been to the venues that we're writing these newsletters about. I have the feel, I know how the food tastes, I know what the people are like, I know the vibe. AI doesn't know that. It only knows what I can relate to it. And so when AI is helping me with any copy for those newsletters, I'm able to say, you know what, as somebody who's been at that venue, eaten that dish, felt the vibe, this isn't hitting the mark. Let's try it again. Okay, once again, your particular experience is going to infuse into that final product. We are the conductor to AI's instrumentation. Let me know if this was helpful. Like this video if it was helpful. Subscribe if you want to be seeing more of these videos that can help you with your approach to AI as a marketer and all the other videos we do on this Substack and this channel. And please share with friends. Sharing is caring, because you probably know some colleagues who are like, AI, really? And maybe you know some colleagues who are leaning a little too hard into AI and are not being the conductor that they should be. This also would be a great video to share with them. Thanks, everyone. Good luck with your AI and ask it what it thinks. You're still here? It's over. But you should hit like on this video before you head out and subscribe if you want to get more videos that'll help you realize how much more there is to marketing. See what I did there?